What up, bro?
I'm glad you saw that. I'm great, man. I'm great. Can't complain.
Yeah, we are going live for the first time, playback to YouTube together.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how this all works right now. Appreciate everyone. All right, there we go. We got the thing coming through right now. We'll get the whole show going in a couple minutes. Oh, let's see. Bro, it's been a minute since I've done this at nighttime. I will say I do love live, like true live podcasting. It's fun, but I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy not going live in the off season just to reset. Like doing like a lunchtime pod, a mid-afternoon pod, because like season starts. Although I don't know if the Warriors are going to actually have a season because they have 9 players, but season starts. Yeah, season starts. You start getting a little like, it's a lot, and 10 to 11, 10 to midnight, and then you got to wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m.
It throws off your schedule a lot more for sure.
My son has zero pity for my podcast schedule. He's like, motherfucker, Paw Patrol, 5 a.m. Let's go. So it's just, it is what it is.
The kids love that show, man. Yeah, that thing's been around forever.
I know all the songs.
I'm proud of you.
It's just how it goes. You get addicted to it, and then it is what it is.
Valkyries up 8, 5:30 left in the fourth.
They are up 8. They are up 8. You know who's not in the chair? The Valkyries are not in the chair right now.
Well, at least Joe's doing one thing right, because it certainly isn't the Warriors.
You don't think so? You don't think that's where the win's coming?
I am gonna bite my tongue on that one. We'll get to it. We got a lot to cover tonight.
Do we have a lot to cover tonight, or do we just have a lot of anger?
Yeah,
to get a lot of anger to
me
get
and you
tonight.
have a lot to cover. There isn't anything new.
Oh, there's to be honest, I disagree with you. There's new, because now we're reaching, like, the leaks are coming aggressively now. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, now we're reaching the point where there's a little more pressure to get everything out there. Let everyone know what's going on with the show here.
Hey, we're all good. The Kuminga situation doesn't matter because we're getting Giannis or Jokic in 2027. That's the important thing to remember from the last couple of days. Giannis and Jokic are on the way. One of the two is going to happen. Joe's going to will it into existence.
All right. We can get to this in a second. I appreciate everyone coming in. Presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and use the promo code WELCOME, one and all, to Light Years. A preview of the new regular season Light Years. We're recording this on Playback, the new creator studio on Playback, allowing us to be live in more places, more high quality production. I'm pretty hyped about this, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Sick.
More hyped about this than I am about the Warriors right now. I'll tell you that. That is, that's, to be fair, that's not a high bar to clear,
watching
so that's
paint
not the best
dry.
sell.
Watching paint dry would be more exciting than watching what the Warriors have done this offseason.
No, that's without a doubt a fact. But this is kind of a little preview for everyone of what this show is going to be when the season starts. Don't know if we're going to start doing it in the preseason or it's going to be more of a regular season thing. But you guys know the deal. When the season gets going, we are live after every game, all 82, plus a couple other extra episodes here and there. They will all be live on Playback. You will be able to call in. You'll be able to tell Tommy, Andy, myself, maybe surprise guest, new guest host number 4, whoever it is, how much we fucking suck, how much you hate our takes, or just, gas us up, make me feel like I'm a hero, like the Michael Scott meme, am I a hero? Hard to say, but yes. But like, that's going to be the show. I'm pretty excited about this. Going to be taking it to new levels. There's just one person we forgot to ask about this.
And who is
The
that?
Warriors, because they don't have a team right now. They do not have a team, Tommy. We do not have an actual team to cover at this moment. We have a theoretical team, but there are only 9 players on this roster at this time. So, it's a fun time. Fun time in little Warriors land right now. I guess I'm going to start you with, can we be honest? At least the last 2 days, it feels like the leaks are coming a little more steady. So you and I can take that as maybe someone's going to do something. Maybe someone's going to do their job. Maybe on day
Why would they do that?
Maybe on day 79, day 79, day 80, day 4,050. I don't know what day we're at this point. Someone's going to be like, oh shit, we should fucking put together a roster. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that now,
Well, the important thing is, you and Andy touched on this last time. Joe emerged from behind the curtain. All is good now. All is good. Joe's going to solve everything, right? So yeah, I'm not worried at all. The fact that if the season started and tomorrow the Warriors wouldn't be able to play basketball games, that's not the slightest of concerns. Joe's going to fix everything, or at least that's what he's wanted us to believe for the last 6 years, and really none of that has come to fruition.
They did win a title. It's like the most. It's the funniest thing in there because it really was
themselves. They won a title.
It was like a fuck you title, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it really was kind of like a
Steph
fuck you
and
title.
Draymond and Clay.
Yeah. Couple others in there, but yeah. So let's start with the number one thing that we haven't talked about here. This quote made me laugh so hard. Turn that TO into a PO. I'm going to play the video right now, so we'll start there.
And Slater, I'm curious, at this point, just a couple of weeks away from training camp, what's the holdup now?
Yeah, I actually talked to Aaron Turner, Jonathan Kuminga's agent, this morning, and the messaging they're adopting this week is turn the TO to a PO and it's done. And that messaging is generally saying if it's a team option on that 3-year deal you mentioned, 74-ish million, if that's suddenly a player option, not only will Jonathan Kuminga sign it, they're saying, but he will be completely bought in on the mission that they're asking of him. Which is, using Turner's messaging, that is to get Steph Curry and Draymond Green a 5th ring, Jimmy Butler his 1st ring, and that's an understanding of him that it's a show of goodwill if they send it to a player option for what they're calling years of confusion over his role, and a willingness to suppress some of his personal ambitions, which are obviously very much a part of, the holdup here, accept what's probably going to be a bench role, what's probably going to be fluctuating minutes, and accepting what will very likely be, a tradable contract.
Thank you for stopping that.
Shout out Slater. You've been at ESPN 1 week and you're already better than 90% of your reporters at doing this. How he held a straight face saying this, I don't know.
It's so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous. What are we doing? Like, how is a franchise that won 4 titles in the past, I guess, 11 seasons now, 10 seasons? How are they handicapped by a guy who has literally not proven one time that he can impact playoff basketball at a winning level? He scored a lot of points against Minnesota. Great. We all know that happened. He had some impressive flashes. But every time prior to that in the playoffs, he looked like absolute dog shit.
Forget that. How amateur is this organization that they're being out leveraged by an agent who his biggest client is Terry Rozier? This isn't Scott Boras, this isn't Rich Paul.
No,
Scott Boras, obviously, like the biggest agent in all sports, and like the go to baseball, and like he does that sort of thing. It's like it's annoying, but like he has like a 20-year, 30-year track.
He does it to everybody,
and like Rich Paul is that in the NBA, where it's like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Aaron Turner's a young agent, a new agent. He's represented nobody in this league. Just relative. And Kuminga has proven nothing in this league, to the point where the only teams who want him are the Sacramento Kings and the Phoenix Suns. I'm sure there's a couple other teams who want him, but you get what I'm saying. Like we're not talking about LeBron hitting free agency in 2010. Like that's not what we're talking about right now. And the most embarrassing part of this entire thing is they are being leveraged to death by amateurs.
A-Rock Turner.
Like I don't want to call them amateurs because that's like me. That comes across like, but like you're not dealing with like a power agent who's like, oh, I'm gonna make sure all my clients fuck like that sort of thing. You're dealing with a dude who's like trying to make his reputation at this point. You have all the leverage, and at this point, anyone looking from the outside would say they have all the leverage, which is to say you misplayed your hand the entire way. The entire way you had the leverage. Now they have the leverage. Now the Warriors, like, can we be honest? Warriors kind of pathetic right now. They're kind of desperate. They need to get him under contract. Other players can't sign with them. At this point, everyone's watching them being like, really? It's September 17th. How have you not signed him? It's just a bad look. And like, I don't know anyone that's looking at this from the outside being like, they got him right where they want him.
They clearly don't. And I'll give Aaron Turner credit for one thing. Turn that TO into a PO. That's catchy. It sounds good in a clip. You got to give the man credit where it's due. And obviously, like you said, he's kind of out leveraged the Warriors in this situation. And yeah, they look like a joke to everybody. I mean, who knows how big of a shot they had at Malcolm Brogdon, who just signed a camp deal with the Knicks. But like, you essentially lost out on him. He got tired of waiting. Thankfully, like the other free agent, like where is Seth Curry going? Like it's clear that he wants to play with his brother in the twilight of his brother's career. Not the twilight, but towards the back end of Steph's career, that he wants that to happen. Al really doesn't. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, oh, you don't think GP2 has 20 options?
Right. Like these guys that are like going to be the signings, which in a vacuum, I like all the signings. I wish there was a little bit more size coming to the roster.
I wish they were signed players who are not like Steph's group chat, which is what it feels like to a degree here.
Yeah, if we're just anyway, but like the point is, like I assume even those guys are like, what the hell is going on here? It's a massive egg on the face for everybody involved with the organization, but in particular the front office. It's like how stupid do the light years comments look now? And I know it's deep in the past, but that's what people's minds go back to is Joe Lacob claiming that they're so far ahead of every other organization, and they're getting out leveraged by a guy in restricted free agency who hasn't made an all-star team, hasn't even gotten close to making an all-star team, isn't commanding anywhere near max money. And this was so foreseeable. 2 years ago, it was foreseeable. I mean, the last moment they really had to do anything was the trade deadline in 2024. And as soon as that passed, I remember texting a couple of people, and I might have even texted you this. I said, it's over. They're screwed in this situation now. Nobody's going to take him in the last year of his contract on the trade deadline because you're essentially getting a 2-month preview of the player at that point. So they missed every window of opportunity. And I guess Joe thinks he can bullshit his way into pumping up his leverage at this point. But it's like, dude, everybody knows your shtick. You've been too public facing for too long.
It's a good transition to what actually made me the angriest. I don't know why we're starting with just pure rage, but
it's deserved.
I mean, yeah, they're not really giving us anything else. I'm gonna play this. This is our guy TK, friend of the show, with Danny Ehrman. It's less relevant to audio, more the sentiment.
Negotiations picked up steam last week, and Joe Lacob got involved, which is something that the Kuminga camp was kind of waiting on.
They were really, they were not just waiting on, they were counting on. They're counting the whole thing on Lacob.
He had been in the background. Negotiations picked up steam last week, and Joe Lacob got involved, which is something.
It hit me when I heard this clip, and this isn't necessarily a new revelation, but Joe is low-key the worst boss I've ever had at every juncture in my career. Like why do you think they didn't want to deal with Mike Dunleavy? Because Mike's boss had let everyone know he has a fucking hard-on for Kuminga. Like he just cut his GM's knees from under him the entire way. I don't know what else you can say. Like it's like Mike's trying to negotiate normal for his position. And he's trying to get the team the best deal he can.
Mhm.
Again, that's his job. He's going to be judged on the fact and the ability to put together a team. And, part of that is getting the best deal you can for the company, or in this case, the team, the Warriors. His boss is out here just, like basically blowing Kuminga. Like he just publicly, like, did you see him against Minnesota? Did you hear what the fan behind me said? It's like, what the fuck is that, dude? What are you doing? He's just like talking him up to the.
That might be the most pathetic comment of this entire saga. It's more embarrassing than anything he said about Wiseman, more embarrassing than anything else he said about Kuminga. Talking about random fans in the second row of a playoff game saying, wow, that Kuminga is a good player. Who cares? What does it have to do with anything? You're now taking your advice and you're giving allegiance.
Many people are saying that he's the best player I've ever seen. Like it's like
we've never seen anybody like him. We've never seen anybody like this player.
And the whole thing is just so obnoxious. And like I can see exactly how this goes. Mike is trying to hardball the agent, as he should do. He's like, you don't have options. Here's our offer. Let's talk this through. Obviously, he's willing to compromise to some level, but like he's trying to. And the agent's just like, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. I know how your boss feels about my client. I know your boss has staked his entire reputation on my client. Mm-hmm. He's sitting here. He's talking about how, this could be the next big superstar in the league, and he's going to be the face of the Chase Center, and we're going to have his billboard all over Market Street and, all over like every AI company who's IPOing and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, it's just bad business is what it is to me, to be honest with you. It's just like, it's frustrating because I've been there in like sales roles where it's just like, the boss cuts in and it's like, all right, now I can't talk to him. Now I can't talk to my client because he knows he has a direct line to the founder, the CEO, whatever it may be. And it's just like, it's so, because like you can see it, like, to be honest, it's really sad and annoying to me watching the Warriors where I know they're getting played by, to your point, A-Rock Turner. Phenomenal handle. Phenomenal handle.
Fantastic. The guy has a way with words, clearly. Like, got to give him that. But yeah, again, like you said, it all looks so amateur. Like it really just does. And I know you hit on this last part, but it feels like we're the two teams that we're trying to trade with, the Kings or the Suns. It feels like we're witnessing like Vivek or Ishbia in real time.
Feels like we're on the same level as them, which is, to be honest, the saddest part of the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, how dire does this make like the future look? Like, I think people who have been paying close attention to this stuff for years, like I'm a sicko. I'm overly involved in this stuff. So are you. So who are a lot of people who listen to this pod, or they're online on Twitter, or whatever you want to call it, X. We're all very overly involved, and like there have been inklings of this for years, and like I think a lot of the fan base initially, when some of us were calling this stuff out about Joe's over involvement dating back to like Smiley-Geach, like, oh no, like, essentially Warriors exceptionalism still existed. And now we're at a point where I think I've actually seen a pretty big shift within the fan base, or at least the people who really play close attention, where they're like, yeah, this is actually really ugly and really bad. And, the Jerry Jones thing keeps getting thrown around more and more. And it's like, is that the destiny that we're headed for with the next 10 to 15 years of the Warriors? Because that's exactly what it feels like. I mean, it is almost a carbon copy. You have this incredible early success, just like Jerry Jones did as the owner of the Dallas
How about
Cowboys.
them Cowboys?
Yeah, but they win 3 titles in his first 4 or 5 seasons as the owner, or like very early on in his tenure. He fires Jimmy Johnson, and that all goes to him and his sons take control of the team, and they haven't won a playoff game in 25 years, or they haven't been to a conference championship in 25 years. And that just feels like the road this Warriors franchise is headed down. I mean, Joe's essentially the de facto GM. Kirk is third in line at worst. Like it feels like
number 2.
Right. Mike is essentially a glorified scout. It feels like he's doing a lot of the basketball stuff, but he's not pulling the lever on many actual decisions. So I just don't know how we get out of this. Like obviously it's terrible for this season and for the rest of Steph and Draymond's prime, Jimmy's prime. But I think the bigger thing is not necessarily bigger, but like the more concerning thing is looking into the future. I just don't see a way out of this. It's like, it's terrifying being a fan of this.
You hope that the egg on the face makes them evolve. You don't know if that's ever coming. Like, to me, I actually don't think they're gonna feel the egg on the face until
won't.
Steve and Steph are gone. Because like they can just lie to themselves and be like, it would have worked with Wiseman and Kuminga if Steve wasn't such a dick. Like that sort of thing. That's a vibe that I get, to be honest. And like it's not even just a vibe. Like quotes pretty much match it too.
Yeah.
So.
I think the bigger thing is, like you said, it might not happen until Steve and Steph specifically leave, because they're still getting 40 national TV games a year. Like that well isn't drying up yet. But as soon as Steph is gone, when you
also just like you need to see it. You know what I mean? Like they need to
Yes.
see. It's like taking the training wheels off, because they can get so mad at how the Kuminga is not playing, but they're still like winning enough to make the playoffs. See what it looks like. See what it looks like when you don't have the training wheels carrying you to the playoffs.
100%. And see what it looks like when you all of a sudden 3 years after Steph retires, you have 12 national TV games a year and nobody gives a shit about your franchise. You're not a national talking point anymore. I think that if anything makes Joe change, it'll be that. But I don't know. I don't see I honestly don't see a world in where it changes. I really don't. I think he's too deep into it at this point, and I just don't. I think his ego's too involved to like give up the control that he now has. Like, how do you put Pandora back in the box, essentially?
Well, so I feel differently than you, because I think shame can hit people at different points and make them change. And I don't like the most frustrating thing about this whole saga is I have yet to see one national voice, because like you and I, like we could pretend we matter, but like we're ultimately like a local fan pod, right? Like I'm not Stephen A. Smith, I'm not Shams, I'm not like that sort of thing, and like I don't pretend to be, but like once like the noise gets to a certain level, that actually shifts people's perspective a little bit. The Warriors have yet to get those criticisms from national voices about how they are essentially a joke. Like it feels very Chicago Bulls at the end of Jordan's tenure, where they got a lot of grace because there was this assumption they were a smart organization, and then like 15 years later everyone's like, might have just been that Jordan guy, might have just been Jordan, like that sort of thing. But like we don't know that that's where it's going to land in 15 years.
Those things are starting to percolate a little bit, I'd say, over the last week or two. Not at the level that I would like to see them, because I thought the national criticism should have came a long time ago. Frankly, it should have happened the season after they win the title, and you have 6 guys on rookie contracts.
Yeah, but you know why it doesn't. You know why it doesn't.
I know. I understand. Because there's goodwill built, and Steve has built media relationships, and at that time Bob was still a part of the franchise, and so would he. There's certain people in the media.
You can't say for sure.
Right.
Give them 1 to 2 years. They're not going to pull a rabbit out of their hat. Like you can't just like react to like, oh wow, they're like 6-14 in the last 20.
Totally.
When they've been that successful. So,
but I guess I'm coming from the standpoint of I had been kind of witnessing the deterioration of the front office. I think probably sooner than most people, because I was really, really paying attention. So what happened after the season, after they won the title, wasn't surprising to me. It was actually, I was shocked that they won the title in the first place, because that probably wasn't a title winning roster if we're being honest with ourselves. But at the end of the day, I think the saddest part about all of this is none of this is surprising to me or you. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, in terms of like, I'd say on like a larger scale, right? Like, I didn't think the Kuminga stuff would drag on this long, but just the way that the last couple of years have played out, I'm not surprised by any of it. They refuse to give up any real assets for anything.
They're still refusing to. They're still like they're like, we want Trey Murphy. It's like, you're not willing to actually trade picks. You're holding on to them for Giannis.
Exactly.
Or Jokic. Today, the only thing I learned this week is they're willing to also sell the farm for Jokic.
Dude, man, that is a light years move if I've ever heard one. They want Nikola Jokic. Crazy. I don't know of any other team in the league that said that.
Can I reset this real quick? I want to
Yeah,
ask your opinion here. All right. So I do think we're going to get conclusion on this Kuminga thing sooner than later. And hopefully sooner is in the next 3 days and not the next 30 days. But what conclusion to this Kuminga saga would give you confidence in the organization? Like what you get what I'm saying? What endpoint
Nothing
here
that's
where you're like,
currently
you know what? I was a little too harsh. I should have trusted the process. I should have trusted the process.
I will never feel that way because they've already fucked up the process too royally. Like I should have trusted. I'm being dead fucking serious right now. I wish I was kidding, but there is nothing they could, unless it's nothing that's on the table currently. That's for sure. Like I don't even. The thing is, I don't even care if the move they make that gets rid of JK that then ends up in Giannis in 30 months. Like that doesn't even matter to me. I don't care about that. I care about winning titles with Steph Curry. That's all I care about right now. Don't sell me on Giannis. And that's why the Sam Amick leak was so frustrating, because it's like it was just so predictable. Lacob gets just this, essentially he gets people leaking from him within the organization that, he's roadblocking a lot of things that would have improved the franchise. Then 24 hours later, oh wow, the Warriors have their eyes on Jokic and Giannis in 2027. It's
it does feel like very like from? Let them eat cake. It's like it's very just like, oh yeah, everything's a mess, but hey, we're gonna put this out there. Let them know, hey guys, Jokic coming 2027.
They have been leaking the stuff about Giannis since 2019. 2019, and it's never even gotten. It hasn't even gotten to like 5% of being done at any point.
The Giannis stuff is my favorite. It's like pre-pandemic. I was like a complete different person when they started leaking it. I have a fucking child who's like 4 feet tall now. Like it's like it's been going on so long. I actually don't even want him. I don't want him anymore. Purely to spite Joe. That's right. Where I'm at with it. I will obviously change that opinion the day he comes to the Warriors. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so frustrating. Okay, to answer my own question, I actually have a take for you.
Okay.
If they trade him in the next 2 weeks, I might come on the show and be like, you know what, Joe? You got me again. You got me. Because if they trade him, it tells me this was all bullshit and they were sneakily looking how to move off of him. And they just needed a deadline to force a deal to get the best deal they could. If they bring him back on a deal where they're lying to us about how they think he could be the future, but they're shopping him, I'll get annoyed, because that'll just be another indication that they're kicking the can down the road. So I'm not saying trade is like the greatest thing on earth. Like the odds are if they trade him, the package is going to be underwhelming. I don't expect it, to be honest. but it's like, to me, I will actually be like, okay, you actually made a decision with finality instead of what is actually the thing that annoys me the most here, which is, a boat's a boat. But the mystery box could be anything. Can be like that's like what they're doing right now. Like they're like, instead of improving this team and seeing if Steph, Jimmy, and B- players can run the table, they're like, don't we want to hold those assets to see if we can get Giannis or something better than that? And it's just like, actually, no. I'd actually just rather see Steph have like a puncher's chance instead of sending him out there with like Pods as his third best player, like, and I like Pods, but like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you're sending him out there with an undermanned squad, asking him to be 2016 every night.
Right. And I think he still has that ceiling on some nights, but he clearly doesn't have that every night anymore. And he shouldn't be expected to. He's 37 years old. I think the funniest outcome for all of this would be re-signing Kuminga. He comes back. He's more or less what he's been for the past 4 years. And then at the deadline, they move him for Wiggins. It'd be so perfect. It would be the perfect conclusion to it'd be the same as moving Wiseman for GP2. It would just be the perfect conclusion to this entire mess.
I would hate that so much.
I'd hate it. I would hate it. And not because Wiggins wasn't helpful at certain points, but it would be the lack of creativity it would just be it would just.
Steph is okay with this move. It's like, no shit. He knows, like, you're training for one of the only guys he knows in the league, you know?
Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it would just be
You
the
just
funniest one. To be clear, like you said, I wouldn't want that. I would prefer a lot of things over that, but it's something I could legitimately see happening.
It's on the short list of things that I absolutely think can happen. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's move off of this for a minute because I'm getting too frustrated. We gotta pay some bills here. All right,
Okay.
Light Years Podcast. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sport takes into real money all season long on Prize Pick. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win. You know, I haven't had a chance to look at any of the props so far, but I'm thinking we are getting the Kansas City rebound game this weekend. I believe they have the Giants. It feels like taking the more on like Mahomes passing yards. Mahomes has been rushing for I think he's rushed for a TD in each of the first 2 games. Look at some Kelsey Moores, all this stuff like that. That feels like, if I'm just thinking without really checking the app right now, that feels like the most obvious play. So that's going to be what I'm going with this weekend. So download the app today and use code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 in lineups instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Tommy, you know what people say to me the first time they see me?
What do they say, Sam?
They're just like, wow, that man has a lot of confidence and I don't know where it's coming from. And, you know, it's kind of backhanded compliment. I'm like, thank you. I do like to carry myself with a certain percent. And you know what the reason is? I wear Skims.
The best.
I'm going to tell you right now, nothing changes my mood and puts me in a better mood than when I have good underwear on. And I think I speak for all men on this one. We don't admit it because it's, you know, like we've been conditioned to suppress that feeling, but like you have the right pair of boxer briefs on, you're walking a little better, you got a little more confidence in your step. You have the wrong pair on, you're kind of grumpy. You're kind of like, what's wrong? You know, you don't want to move around. Everyone's like, why are you quick fused? What's wrong? You lie and you're like, I didn't sleep good last night. It's not the truth. You know, it's because you're not wearing comfortable underwear. And so that's like really, like, I can't put a value on that because it literally, it adds value to every aspect of my life. It makes me a better podcaster, makes me better at playback on a daily basis, makes me better just with my family, everything I do. I mean, I don't even know how to talk about Skims. Like, I didn't think it was possible to find a pair of boxer briefs that hit that perfect cross section of structure and flexibility and comfort. So, you know, I advise you all. You want to be a amazing podcaster like me, living the best life, driving fucking Ferraris, whatever it may be. Get yourself some Skims, guys. If you want to support the show. Shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know we sent you. After you place your order, select podcasts in the survey, select the show in the drop-down menu. When you use the drop-down menu, you'll see Light Years. Hit it right there, guys. Skims Men's, skims.com. It'll change your life.
You know, I wish you were kidding about that, but now, like, every time I'm about to go to like a nice dinner, before I'm about to go out, Skims have to go on. They have to. They really are the most comfortable.
It's not something we talk about as men, but it's like there is an underwear hierarchy in your drawer.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you have the right you have a big event, big date, like that sort of thing. You're just like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like Thursday you go to the drawer and you're like, just did laundry, but Saturday I got a big date. I can't wear these tonight. I gotta save these bad boys for Saturday.
100%.
It's every dude does it. Like, we don't talk about it. Maybe we need an underwear support group. Maybe that's where we go with this.
I need a support group for a lot of things at this point, including the Warriors. but you know, let's get it going, man. We got to find some way to fill the time and fill the content, because I don't think we're going to play a season at this point.
9 players on the roster.
I think I'm pretty close to having more pairs of Skims than the Warriors have players on their roster.
Maybe that's the challenge. Maybe that is the challenge. You know what? I'll get off. I'll text you. I haven't done a Skims count. It's definitely in the ballpark. Like it's somewhere between 5 and 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't, like all guys, I haven't got enough that I get rid of like the shitty pair of underwear at the bottom of the drawer, which you never throw. Which you never throw away.
No, there's sentimental value.
There's no sentimental value. It's just like just a weird thing that I don't do, you know? So I don't know. We got some people wanting to hop in. Let's get to this first. Let's get Gio up here. Friend of the show, Gio. By the way, if you want to call in, hop over to playback, hit the stage button, we'll bring you up. Gio, what's up, man?
Oh God, are we having audio issues with Gio again? This is every time.
Someone in the chat's like every caller announce your underwear.
I'm spotlighting that. It's like the Rosillo pods where they give height and weight. They give height and weight when they email in. You got to give your underwear brand when you get on stage.
Yeah.
It's Steve. Gio, there he is.
It's Steve 5'10" Haynes. No.
Am I clear? Am I clear?
Clear.
Yeah, what's
clear.
up, Gio? You're coming in loud and clear, bro.
Yeah, man. Honestly, yeah, like I think the thing that makes me so mad about all this is that, like y'all said, this was predictable since they drafted him. Like we all knew this was the outcome of all this. Like since like dude, bro, like it's insane to me that Seth wins a championship. Oh, sorry about that. He wins a championship, right? And he gets 6 rookies on his roster.
Ryan Rollins looks champion. I think Ryan Rollins is a breakout player this year, by the way.
Great. It's year 4 for Ryan Rollins. Like that's awesome.
But it's like, dude, like the Nuggets
I do agree, though.
Scrap that like plan like in one summer because it was stupid. Like it was an insane plan. Like in one summer they're like, no, that's dumb. We have Jokic. Like why are we playing kids around Jokic for no reason? Like it's insane how this was all predictable since like 2022, bro. Like it's insane to me. And like I'm just I don't know, bro. I'm just like frustrated. Like, it's the same shit every single year, bro. Like, it's the same dumb mistakes. It's the same like Giannis, Jokic bullshit, like PR stuff. Like it's the same shit every year, bro. It's annoying.
I really wonder who they think they're fooling at this point, right? Like, do they think that's actually working on any fans at this point besides the people who really aren't paying attention that much? And the way that these things get released, it's like nobody who doesn't pay attention that closely is even seeing that news drop. So it's like the people who are seeing the news drop of Jokic and Giannis in 2027, those are the same people who have been witnessing this entire saga all summer. How do you think you can't negotiate with Jonathan Kuminga, but you're somehow going to convince Nikola Jokic or Giannis Antetokounmpo to come to your franchise? It's a joke.
Also, like I don't know, bro. Like, dude, the post-Steph era, man, it sounds so scary to me. Like, it sounds so bleak to me because, like, I don't know, like
we're getting Jokic and Giannis. Chill out,
Giannis, dude. I mean,
both of them.
Maybe, like, who knows? Like, I don't know, but like, God willing, maybe, inshallah, we get Giannis and Jokic. Maybe I don't know, but like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like we're heading anywhere this season as well. Because, like, hold on, like. Are we saying like he comes back for like what 6 months, 3 months until then? I mean, is that a good plan? Like he plays this season until February.
I actually think that's a great question because that's the thing no one has talked about, which is it's gonna be toxic. You know, like now on the one hand, you could say
I said it a month ago.
Steph,
I said that a month ago.
No one remembers that. No, but I mean, it's like on the one hand, it's like all right, Steph and Draymond, those guys have like dealt with more toxic. You know, they've dealt with like the KD, the pool situation, that sort of thing. On the other hand, it's just like why do you keep putting these situations in the locker room? Like, do you think it's going to be beneficial to the team? You know? So.
Yeah, but we know how. But like, the thing is, like Steph last year, right? He didn't have any belief in the team, so he didn't really try it till like Jimmy came, right? So are we going to see like another scenario where Steph?
You really think Steph didn't try, or do you think he just goes trapped by 4 guys every game?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was a little bit of both for a while. I think he had just lost faith. He had lost belief, and he's like, "Why am I going to push all out?" Especially coming off the Olympics. Especially he was coming off the Olympics. Too. Like he was already exhausted, so he's like, "Why am I really going to push?" And then when Jimmy came, he obviously turned it up a notch. But a lot of it was him just seeing 4 bodies every night.
But the energy it takes for like to be like 38 years old and like be like a superstar, and then also have to deal with like bullshit drama for like then plus the thing is they need JK. I said they need the talent though. They need like if he can't play, like the team then lacks talent. They need the roster. They need his position like badly. So like I don't know. It's like it's kind of hard to like he needs to play because they need the talent. They need someone who's at least on that who's has the talent to play like on the team. Like it makes no sense to like trade him or like I don't know. Like
I think maybe the more relevant question is because this is something that Slater said yesterday. Let's say Kuminga gets around the contract that he wants. He gets the 3rd-year player option. Joe folds like we kind of think he's going to do. Let's say all that happens. The line from Slater, which essentially came from Kuminga's agent, Aaron Turner, was that he will be fully bought in to helping Steph Curry, Draymond Green get their 5th ring.
So fucking insulting, dude.
It's so ridiculously insulting. Like, oh, now you're going to try. You're above all of this unless you get the money that you want, which is just so ridiculous on his face. But do you believe
Kuminga Kuminga going on right? Yeah, exactly.
Like, do you actually believe that he will do that? Do you think he's, I guess, one, capable of helping or helping the team in the way he needs to, and 2, do you believe he will want to or will do it?
Like honestly, the thing is, like, I don't believe he will do any of these things at all. Like, because we've seen it for like 3 years, he hasn't done it, right? But still though, they do need his position theoretically. They do need the theoretical Kuminga to be like a good player. Like that's a sad point. It's like they need that player on the team, but like at least trade him for like that player or like I don't know, bro. Like it, like they need like dude. It's so nothing. Dude, nothing sounds good, right? I don't see a scenario where he comes back and it's like good or he's gone for like Malik Monk. I mean, like that sounds nice at this point, but like I don't see like who's the player where they can trade for like
Giannis.
That's like Giannis, but like who's like Giannis? Like who was?
No, I hear you. I hear you. I agree with you in the big picture. My biggest fear with the whole thing is bringing him back on a contract that's too inflated because I actually don't think it's about his lack of effort. I just don't think he's capable. Like I'm saying this. Let me put it this way. Do I think if he committed to being Aaron Gordon, he could eventually get there? Sure.
Yeah.
But he clearly views himself as a scorer, and they keep throwing him out there asking him to be a glue guy. That's not going to change.
Right.
That's not going to change with a check. It's not going to change overnight. You know, like him, like growing into being Aaron Gordon type, which is like, you know, the name that Steve's thrown out there. That's like a year plus of committing to not giving a fuck about anything, but like doing the little things. Because that's not the way he sees the game.
Yeah.
And so my whole thing is like, it's going to fail. The whole thing is going to fail. And you give him a big contract, it's going to be drama when Steve plays him 8 minutes in a game because he's not going and they need skills other than offensive scoring. Like, can you guys at least agree with me on that? Like, that's exactly how it's going to play out if they bring him back. The only thing that is a question is, do they give him a huge contract or not? Because at least if it's a small contract, who cares? If it's a big contract, then it's like, I don't want to trade for this, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think go ahead. Sorry.
I think the thing that that people miss about like the Aaron Gordon or asking him to be that type of thing. And like this part isn't all on Kuminga. Aaron Gordon got to try and fail at being a first option. He was miserable. He had played for a terrible Orlando Magic team for 6 years. He got traded in year 7. And at that point of his career, he had accepted, maybe I'm just not that guy. And I think he has a different skill set than Kuminga to even start with. Like he's bigger, he's stronger. He's nearly as good of an athlete. He's a much better passer, probably a little bit better of a shooter, definitely a better shooter now, maybe not at the time of the trade, but reality had hit him in the face. Reality has not smacked Kuminga in the face yet. And that's what has to happen to a lot of these guys, like guys who end up playing an Andrew Wiggins role on a title team or a Sean Marion role, or like all these roles on these title teams where they just become a defender and like kind of a slasher and shooter. They have that opportunity to become the first option. And they see, oh, you know what? I'm not cut out for this. If I want to stick in the league, I actually have to do these other things. If I want to earn another contract, I actually have to do these other things. Kuminga is clearly not there yet, which is why I just don't buy that he would ever play that role. At least not for the Warriors. Maybe 5 years down the line he will, but it's not going to happen here.
I also don't think he can. Like, I just keep coming back to this. Like, you're just like, oh, he gets paid and he's going to turn into 2007 Sean Marion. Like, that's not how it works.
Good luck.
He hasn't shown that skill. That's not his skill set. At this point, the thing he has shown is he's very good at attacking one-on-one mismatches.
Yeah.
Very hard to stay in front of him. It's an intriguing skill set, don't get me wrong, or anything like that. But it's just like one of those things where it's just like you're putting yourself on this carousel about a player who's not going to be who you want him to be. And you don't want to get off of it because you have this 1% fear that in 4 years, in a different situation, with a little life experience, it could make you look dumb.
Yeah.
And
honestly,
it's just like, to finish my point, it's just kind of like you could have, if you just moved him 2 years ago, none of this matters at this point. You know what I mean?
But also, it's not just JK. It's the Chris Paul's contract. It's like not getting what's his name from Utah. It's like it's all these other outs. Like that other outs
5 years ago. Kelly Oubre.
Yes, it's all those moves because like he doesn't matter if you correct all these other moves. Like if you trade JP for like a good player, if you trade CP for a good player, like all these things, like JK is relevant if these other moves actually are actually corrected. Like these other moves were like done correctly. Like that's
true.
That's a problem to me. Like
appreciate you, Gio.
Yeah, no problem.
Have a great one, brother. Yeah,
nice,
no, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong at all. That's a great point. It really is.
I mean, all of it's just frustration where it's just like I'm just ready to move on. You know, just let them be another team.
Yeah, and it's not like it really doesn't have even that much to do with Kuminga at this point. It's just like the whole thing is just tiring and exhausting.
Neil, what's up, brother?
What up, dude?
I am New York, Neil.
I am in a Newark, not even New York. I'm in a Newark airport hotel, and that is less depressing than this whole conversation.
What kind of chair? Wow. What kind of chair? Can you show us the chair?
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to get up and show you this chair. Here we go. Look at this chair. This is a chair. I don't even know if you can see it. I don't even feel like lifting it. I'm too tired. But anyway, I mean, the chair talk has been, it's been amazing. But
we've got a lot of chair talk out there. God knows we haven't had player talk. So
yeah. I don't know. I think the most depressing part of all this is that the King. Okay, so let's take the recent reporting that we've kind of seen over the last few days is true. So the Kings clearly are interested in Kuminga, right?
Sure.
Kuminga is clearly interested in going to the Kings. I think there was a report. I forget. Maybe it was Sam Amick. I don't know if it was him, but there was a report saying that he wants to play for the Kings. We know Steve Kerr does not want Kuminga on this team. He wants to get rid of Kuminga. I think Steph probably wants to move on from Kuminga. There's one guy holding this all up. Like this should have been done months ago. Like there's like so many different sides of this thing that want to get this done, and there's this one guy, named Joe Lacob, who's holding all it up. And it's an ego move. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. It's depressing to say the least. I don't know.
What is your preferred outcome, Neil?
I mean, at this point, like I think Tommy mentioned it earlier. At this point, there's nothing on the table right now that's I would have like there was like trade offers like early in the offseason that I would have taken gladly. Like I would have taken Malik Monk. I would have. Hey, was there a move? I think for the Suns. I think there was a move there with like Royce O'Neal. Maybe I would have done that.
Yep.
Like there was a thing
You're
like
down that bad. You would have taken Royce O'Neal.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he is not great, but he's a role player that knows what he needs to do. There was the Alex Caruso thing. I mean, I think just honestly at this point, I think it's more just a buildup of like every move they haven't made with Kuminga over the last 2 years. Like I think we've made the joke like we could make a starting lineup of all the players they could have traded for Kuminga that they haven't.
Totally.
I think it's just build up to the point where it's like could have had Siakam. There was Anunoby. There was Caruso. But no, you got to wait for Jan. And Nikola Jokic, now I'm hearing Nikola Jokic doesn't even want to play for his current – he barely wants to play for his current team. He wants to, like, go –
Yeah, we don't have good enough horse racing to convince him. Like Jokic actually get the most depressing. He's gonna if he leaves Denver, he's for sure going to the Lakers or the Knicks because all the good horse racing is in Southern California and New York.
Yep.
Like this is not even a question. Like Golden Gate Fields shut down. It kind of depressed me. I had some good Sundays at Golden Gate Fields. But
this is like the delusion of like you think you're getting Nikola Jokic. Like Giannis was like I remember when you were doing pods like with Andy and like in COVID talking about what neighborhood Giannis would like the most if we moved to the Bay Area. We were talking Walnut Creek. We were talking Atherton, and like it kind of made sense then because there was like a lot of like okay, is Giannis
it's like 5 fucking years ago.
Yeah,
dude.
and we're still on that, and like. You think Giannis is going to want to come to like a team with like Steph at age, whatever he's going to be, like 30, 38, 39, and like Brandon Pajemski and like I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah. Why would Giannis want that?
Yeah.
Like, I just think it all kind of goes back to like the ego and the delusion that is just overseeing the entire operation of thinking the Warriors themselves are this brand that they really aren't. Like, obviously, they are one of the highest valued franchises in sports, and one of the more well thought of brands out there in terms of sports
Number
right
one
now.
in the NBA.
Yeah, like which that's all really cool and important stuff. But we don't know what. I don't think the valuation necessarily will drop. But like, what is the brand? What does all that look like in a non-Steph universe? You know,
I think it's more important to look at it through the lens of. Who's on the roster, because I think that like unless you're the Lakers who randomly LeBron decides he wants to go to LA, most teams you got to have something there to get the first player to come. Like that's really what it comes down to. And like I've made amends with the fact that when Steph retires, they're probably going to tank, and then like fingers crossed, it's they find that guy the first or second draft. Because I don't want to live through like 8 of them. But like that's a fingers crossed scenario. But like I feel pretty confident about the Warriors if they draft, I don't know, the next dude, then they'll be able to get guys in free agency. But like that is like the key part. Like they're not going to get guys in free agency just because like, it's the Warriors. And I think that's true of basically every team other than LA. And LA is a unique city which has certain draws to men in their 20s that just cannot be replicated elsewhere. Like, and I'm okay admitting it. I'm okay admitting that the Bay Area is not LA.
Look at even the Knicks or like even the Heat. So we're talking New York or Miami. Like when was the last time?
Positive vibe cities.
Great cities by all accounts. I've visited both. They're fantastic places to hang out. Who were like the last like true marquee free agents to go to either one of those places post LeBron going to Miami? The Knicks,
Jalen Brunson, Jimmy Butler,
right? And those guys.
The Nets,
at the time of their signings, they're second or third tier guys. Now Brunson has vaulted into that superstar category. Jimmy did the same thing in Miami for a little bit,
but neither of them were signed as tier 1 guys. Both of those were like they're good players, and they kind of like surprised. And everyone's like, "Damn, I didn't realize he was that good." I did not realize Jimmy was that guy. I did not realize Jalen was that guy.
Bingo. And so like Warriors would either have to hit on a move like that, which is totally possible. They could pull something like that, Or like, I mean, I guess you could maybe say KD and Kyrie signing with Brooklyn in 2019, but the KD thing still had to be a sign and trade just because of, cap machinations. And that's an entirely different thing. I don't really see any of the current superstars kind of moving like KD did or like Kyrie did just in terms of the way they operate. So it's the free agency in general has become kind of like a barren wasteland. It's almost
Like
more of like an
MLB free
extension.
agency.
Also, can we
It's an
just
extension and trade league.
can we just stop talking about this real quick and be like, why are we fucking talking about 3 years from now? That's the bigger part of that, which is frustrating here. And it's just like, ooh, they want to get Jokic in 2027. It's like, I want to see Steph have a good team in 2025, 2026. So
Yeah, exactly.
Tommy fucking shuts off his camera to go yell into a
basically
bag.
basically.
If Steph in these last playoffs, like let's say against the Rockets, because like he was hurt against Minnesota, but like if he played, like if he was just awful versus Houston, like clearly was showing signs of decline, like okay, I get it. Like you clearly want to look for, or even in the last like few years, and I think we've met. I think Sam and Tom, you guys have mentioned this, and Andy as well, but you guys have mentioned this multiple times. But I think they were caught off guard by the title in 2022.
So yeah,
I think that really just derailed Joe's like vision or whatever he was thinking, the 2 timeline, whatever, we can hash it out like thousands of times that we have. But like, yeah, like if Steph was like just like bad in the Houston, like, but he was great in the Houston series and okay, it was like 12 minutes, but he was great in game 1 against Minnesota. And then he goes down and then like, how much you need to like Jonathan Kuminga? Then I forget what he averaged in the Minnesota series. It was great.
Low 20s.
Yeah, it was great numbers on paper, but it didn't lead to anything. They were non-competitive in that series. Except maybe game 3, I think they were.
Someone has to score the ball. Like
right.
No, you're not gonna lose games 32-100.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're NBA players. You're gonna score
if
80
Buddy
plus,
if
plus.
Buddy was putting up 25 a game, would you feel different about Buddy? No, I wouldn't. Like I know who he is as a player.
Like even real Kuminga backers like Zach Lowe, who obviously a national media guy, has been doing this for a long time, has a very good eye for the game, especially as national media guys go. He's been a huge Kuminga backer. He said, even he, like watching the Minnesota series, he was like, he was scoring, but like, and this is a guy who's been kind of in Kuminga's camp on a lot of this and like kind of been, the Warriors.
Like, why don't they play him more and figure out what he is?
He's been one of those guys throughout the whole thing. He said, like, yeah, he was out there scoring, but like, it just didn't feel like he was doing much to really impact winning, which is just always what it feels like with him. You get one of those games every 2 weeks. And I would even say game 3 of the Minnesota series was like that. I would like the game they almost won at home. It was kind of like that. But outside of that, the rest of the series is like, well, yeah, he's putting the ball in the bucket, but like, I think game 4 he had like 0 rebounds. So like, what do we? I know he's guarding the perimeter a lot, but like, what are we doing here?
The most intrinsic thing was when they're like, they want a contract like Jalen Green. I was like, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
they're the same fucking player.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
And he wants to play for the Kings. That's like a perfect. And a last point
or the Suns. Good
Lord. Or the Suns. Yeah, I mean the Suns at least have been to a finals recently, but like, yeah, but like, okay, last point I'll make before it because anyone else wants to jump on. But like, there was also the report that like Lacob would be scared of trading Kuminga to the Kings because he thinks like, what if he becomes a superstar? All right, well, you're the dude who was saying you were light years ahead of the league in 2016. And yeah, that's like that was arrogant at the time, and he's an arrogant, like that's fine. But that was like that's like the confidence you want to hear from your owner, and at the time they were like quote unquote were light years ahead of the league. But so that just now it just sounds like you're just like all your like brash talking about light years ahead of the league, like we know what we're doing, like 2 timelines. It just sounds inauthentic now. If you're scared that like Kuminga's gonna go to the Kings and
I like this point.
Like, okay, so what if he does? Great. Like, I don't think that him averaging 30 points in the Kings is going to get them the 9 seed and like a first round exit at best.
I also think the funny thing about Kuminga wanting to go to the Kings is like he's stated this desire to be a first option. I think DeRozan and
well, they might
Sabonis
trade.
Like
they might trade DeRozan, but like
I guess, but like. He's not the first option over Sabonis. Maybe those two can work in tandem, but like I don't really see how that fits all that. Well, like he wouldn't be going to a situation where he's like the clear cut number 1 guy. That's for sure.
I don't actually buy that he cares as much about that. He just cares about getting a long leash.
Sure.
And he's going to shoot the ball. So you may not think he's the first option, but he's going to play like he is. So I mean, Sacramento's perfect. Like Levine.
Yeah, I forgot about Levine. Levine's there too. It just doesn't make any sense.
No shortage of shots.
Yeah, seriously.
Neil, appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Neil.
Touch on up here real quick. I don't buy the Kings leak, to be fair. That feels like a King-sided thing where they're just trying to like prod him. And I don't blame him, but
the
Warriors are afraid he's gonna be a
afraid he's
star.
gonna become a star. Yeah, I mean maybe. It doesn't really matter at this point. I think you're muted.
Do we lose you? Tatchan, you there? All right, we're gonna move. Righty, what's up, man?
Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear
There
me?
we go.
Good. How you, man?
I'm not gonna lie, the playback settings are a little more difficult to operate with the recent update, so that might be what tech was dealing with. But nonetheless, I do have a question for you guys, and I hate to keep on percolating around the Jonathan Kuminga contract situation.
Well, what
But
else we have
it's
to talk about?
Yeah, if there
but
ain't anything
but
else,
I,
man.
I,
Let's do
I
it.
one element that I feel like really hasn't been brought up a lot is sort of the element of the court of public opinion. And when I see a lot of these leaks, for example, especially on the Jonathan Kuminga side, where you kind of have links where, oh, Jonathan Kuminga is willing to invest in the future of, Steph Curry's ring count and accolade count. And that's the real reason why is because he hasn't, the contract number just hasn't been insatiable. And that's why he hasn't really hasn't bought into a role. And so I sort of ask myself, how many of these narratives are kind of injected into the public stream just to see what the court of public opinion really is on them, to test the waters, per se. And so I pose this question to you. What role has the court of public opinion played in either humbling Jonathan Kuminga or in, shifting the way contract talks have gone throughout this entire process?
It's a good question.
It is a really good question.
You want to go first?
I mean, I don't.
Sorry,
I don't know if
I know you guys.
no.
This
It
is
is
late at night. It might be a little bit too.
No. It's a good
thought-provoking
question.
question.
I appreciate it because it's
a different topic than we've hit. So you're saying essentially like some of what Kuminga is releasing, they just want to try to like shift the court of public opinion about him.
Kind of, and see
Yeah.
sort of if it helps the leverage of the situation, or even like, I also kind of think that Jonathan Kuminga has sort of changed his own view on himself throughout this process. As you can kind of tell with the recent links, it's kind of like, well, maybe I am willing to accept the role player, but you're just going to have to see me as a scammer. And that's kind of where the narrative's kind of gone.
I like that.
No, not, no hate
I know what you're
at all.
saying.
If I can maximize my own payout, then I would.
Yeah. Oh no, did we lose him?
Oh no, do we lose him?
Yeah, we did. That
I'm
is
gonna
a really good
answer. I'm
question,
gonna
though.
answer his question
go ahead.
first before he comes on. I don't know how much the court of public opinion is affecting this. I think this is purely a leverage play. I think he wants out of the Warriors. I think he's wanted out of the Warriors the entire time. But I think there's also the second act part of it, which is, well, if we're not out of this, I'm going to try to get as much money as I can.
Totally.
And I think that's all that's going on here. I don't think it's actually that complicated in general. I think it's just leverage. And I think the part that's annoying is the Warriors. It feels like they're just reacting to everything instead of like proactively making decisions here.
Are you saying there aren't brainiacs on any side of this negotiation? Is that what you're trying to tell me right here, Sam? Because that is shocking to me. No, I think I don't think he's necessarily. I would maybe agree with the fact that maybe Kuminga's opinion of himself has changed a little bit. Like even if it's not a ton, but like nobody really wanted you, man. Like he got some nice offers in free agency, nothing to scoff at. Like 4 years, $90 million from Sacramento. That's nothing to scoff at. Same thing from Phoenix. Like those are nice offers. You are not making even half of what Franz is making. You are not even making half of what Cade Cunningham is making. You're making a Jalen Green contract. That's where you sit in the NBA right now. So maybe he would be slightly more willing to buy into some of this stuff. And maybe like he has maybe at least maybe a little bit recalibrated his own opinion of himself as a player. I don't think that's necessarily true, but that would be your optimistic glass half full take from the way he's now going about the negotiations as opposed to last summer.
Maybe. All right, DS, what's up, man?
Myself, though.
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Doing good. First of all, did y'all check out that Hoop Collective Pacific where they talked about Kuminga with Bon Temps and Windhorse and McMahon? Dude, peep that out. The way Bon Temps lit into Kuminga and set him ablaze. Y'all have got to peep that out when y'all get a chance and make mention of that.
Bon Temps does not pull punches, that's for sure.
No, and he's not a Kuminga fan, and he's basically said that the Warriors have done everything right. The deal is more than generous for a player of his stature, and he set him on fire. It was crazy. But the question I wanted to ask y'all is, to me, the two biggest things and about what they're looking to trade is putting Kuminga on the block and putting post-Steph era draft capital on the block, which are also the two things that Lacob probably doesn't want to deal, even if he's held at gunpoint and his family is tied up in a Brooklyn basement like an old Biggie song. But what's the limit for that? I mean, we know we have the pipe dreams, which is Giannis and LeBron, which probably doesn't happen. LeBron going to start his own league overseas before he ends up playing for the Warriors. But even though if I'm the Lakers, that's not a bad deal. If you feel like Kuminga, Moody, and Hill's contracts and a couple of post-Steph draft picks for LeBron, and you're building around Luka, that's not the worst way to go.
That's not terrible.
But those are the pipe dreams that's not happening. But do you all think that if they put some post-Steph draft capital and Kuminga, would Lacob settle for like a Trey Murphy for that package or a Derek White for that package? Because that's what you can get that's going to make the team good next year and could be a contender. But
it's the right question.
Is that adequate enough?
It's the right question because I do think they could get a Trey Murphy or a Derek White type. And maybe not even those two, but a player who we all agree is a good, can help you win, probably third option at best on a contending team player, or if they're willing to put like two post-Steph picks and like a good young player.
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to you is I don't believe Joe would do it. I have zero faith. I have zero faith that they're willing to crash out for Steph, because I do actually think you put Trey Murphy with Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, and you fill out with reasonable veterans, and obviously you need the right health. And that's going to be the biggest thing. But like I do think that team can win a title. I really do. I'm not that impressed by OKC. I'm not that impressed by the entire East, to be clear. Denver, they're good, but like I'm impressed by Jokic. I'm not that impressed by Denver, if that makes sense. I do think it's there if the Warriors hit the right pattern, and I just genuinely don't believe Joe's willing to do it. I don't. I think he's only willing to do it if he can get Giannis, because then it's not about winning a title with Steph. It's about having his next draw for the next 7 years. Like, obviously they want to win next year, but it's like, if it doesn't happen, whereas like, you're not building a team around Trey Murphy. Does that make sense? You're not building a team around those caliber players. Those guys are like the perfect piece to potentially put Steph over the top.
Yeah,
And it makes the pick the most valuable because if you add a Giannis, then what good are those first round picks that you just gave?
Well,
to
that's
Milwaukee?
that's the other point. But like that, I'm thinking about purely from the Warriors lens, purely from the Joe lens, which is I don't believe him.
Yeah, he won't do it, and it's basically for the reason Sam exactly pointed to because they're holding out for something bigger, which is fine, I guess, but it's also just not the right way to approach it. Like I get it in a vacuum, but with the current team that you have, like there's no guarantee. Even if you have all of your first round picks, even if you have all of them, there's no guarantee you can get Giannis. There is no guarantee you can get Jokic or whatever superstar is the next guy. Draft picks don't guarantee you of shit. No, not good players in the draft, not good players in a trade. They don't get.
Well, they can be good players in the draft. You know what you're doing, but
even then, it still doesn't guarantee it. Like everybody thought Markelle Fultz was
how
going to
many
be a great player.
How many misses does Presti have?
More than gets talked about, but not many. He's fantastic at it. He's probably the best GM in the league. But my point is like it. I think the most frustrating part about like not trading picks for a Trey Murphy or a Siakam or whatever guy that you bring up that's kind of like a second, third tier player. You can recoup the picks later down the line. You can Trey Murphy's 25 years old. You can trade 3 years from now. Steph's done, Dre's done, Jimmy's done. Some contending team is going to want Trey Murphy. You can trade him for two first round picks at that point. And you can recoup the assets more or less. I know they're not your picks. They might not be quite as valuable, but they are still assets in your war chest. So this ring clutching, I guess, over first round picks, it just
prospect hugging.
It just doesn't make sense to me, man. It just, especially not with their current window. I guess OKC is built like this, and it's a different CBA now. You need draft picks because of how handicapping the second apron is. Like all that stuff makes sense, but we weren't operating in this CBA for the 4 or 5 years prior to now. Like, and they still weren't willing to trade picks. So it's about their own willingness to not do this rather than current CBA machinations, which is the excuse they're going to go with now.
Which is the crazy thing, because if you take the picks off and you give Kuminga anything to what they're talking right now, what's Kuminga going to be worth on his own without picks attached with that contract?
And that's kind of the point I was making, which is like, you keep giving in, you're going to actually end up with a contract that you can't move. It's going to be like the Jordan Poole situation again. Jordan Poole is a good player, a player who helped this team win a title, but Jordan Poole's contract is not in line with the caliber of player he is or the way the league looks at him. And that's my biggest fear with Kuminga. Like they keep giving concessions to him, and next thing you know, you're with a contract that you can't move, which is the last thing we want. I don't know. This whole thing's just, it's September 18th, man. It's September 18th. You want me to not sound negative? Fucking be better at your job. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm shocked we're here and they have 9 players and Kuminga has not signed. And quite frankly, Kuminga's running around them in circles. Like, to be honest, shout out Kuminga for playing them in this negotiation at this point. You know, like I'm mad because I care about the Warriors and I want them to win, but like I can't hate. He's outplaying them right now. He is, you know, and the whole thing is frustrating to me. And it's not what I wanted to see after they got Jimmy at the deadline and they had a positive end to the season. And I thought for a second they were going to act like adults and just be like, you know what, Steph, Jimmy, 2 shots at the apple. Let's go for it. It may not work, but let's just see what happens. That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought they were going to act like adults here and recognize that this man is the reason your franchise went from 1 billion to 9 billion, 10 billion, 12, whatever the fuck it's worth, and give him just a puncher's chance. And instead we're sitting here in the chair. I'm very familiar with every hotel chain in America because I've been searching these chairs the entire off season. And they deserve better.
I really think that's the most disappointing part, Sam, is like you saw again for the upteenth time, You saw what Steph Curry and Draymond can do when you put good, competent basketball players around them. They can be the best team in the regular season for literally half of the regular season. They were on the very short list. It was like them and OKC and Boston through the last third of the regular season. And what did that change? You thought, okay, maybe they're going to, like you said, grow up, mature, realize. None of it happened. And why not? All because Kuminga had 3 good games against Minnesota where they got blown the fuck out. And Joe Lacob sitting there talking about, oh, like the fans behind me were talking about how they haven't seen a young player like Kuminga. Anthony Edwards plays for their fucking team. What are you talking about? It's all bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind here, but it's so
you just go
insane.
look at old Joe quotes and it's mad. It's like I haven't seen a player like this. I don't get. Well, you fucking haven't been in a gym, dude. I don't really give a fuck if you haven't seen a player like this.
It's Trumpian. It really is. Like, that's how it reads. Half the quotes read like that.
Oh, they do. They do. They just, this is the best player who's ever existed, and it's just so. But like, to your point, all right, 2 timelines failed. I won, but I didn't win. I did not win. Being right did not give me success. You know what I mean? I just want to move on with it. I literally just want to see you get a couple competent role players who are not Seth Curry next to Jimmy and Steph and call it a day. Call it a day.
All right, y'all. I'm depressed now. I'm gonna go.
I'm sorry, man.
Yes, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Right,
We're gonna be in better moods going forward. We're gonna be in better moods going forward.
I needed this. I needed this little.
Sometimes you just gotta let it
session.
out there. You gotta call it a day. Someone's gonna pull the video of this when the Warriors go on like a 7-game winning streak. Be like, you're just a hater. It's like, fine.
Great. I can't wait. I hope they go on a 7-game winning streak. I hope they win.
I hope they have
6
7
games.
players. To be honest with you,
that would be nice too. That would be nice too.
All right. Appreciate everyone. Be out of here.